This FedGov Today program is sponsored by AFCEA International. On this edition of FedGov Today with Francis Rose, the non-kinetic battle space heats up for the Joint Force. AFCEA International's Mike Black explains on FedGov Today in just a moment. First, though, the Department of Defense's Software Fast Track initiative is 3 months old now. Katie Arrington, performing the duties of the Chief Information Officer at DoD, signed SWIFT into existence in April. This Sunday morning on FedGov Today TV, she'll tell you what's next for SWIFT and how she says it's already helping the department. You can watch the debut on ABC7 in Washington and on the FedGov Today YouTube channel at 10:30 Sunday morning. If you miss the debut, you can watch anytime at fedgovtoday.com and on YouTube. The Defense Department has 3 Zero Trust solutions available now, with more coming online by the end of the year. Leaders across the department say the non-kinetic battle space is top of mind for them. Colonel Mike Black, U.S. Air Force retired, Vice President for Defense for AFCEA International. Mike, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. You get out to a ton of AFCEA events. I see you on LinkedIn all the time, posting current situations from everywhere you are. What are some of the themes, especially in the cyber realm, but not just in the cyber realm, that you keep hearing over and over again at the events that you go to? Welcome.
Well, great. Francis, first, thank you for having me here, and thanks for the introduction and the reference to the current situation, which we are in right now, a current situation. What I'm hearing out there is a lot of talk about artificial intelligence or AI, machine learning, of course, cybersecurity, and that's a very broad topic, but securing the network. And there's both offensive and defensive aspects of cybersecurity. We have large trade shows, as you know, that are centered around, like Augusta, centered around the Army, or centered around the Sea Service in San Diego, or a particular area of responsibility like Indo-PACOM, those kind of things. And so we have sessions out there that we're hearing really the same kind of thing in those different, I call them area of responsibilities. Sometimes it's focused on a specific service, or most so on a specific service like Augusta. Sometimes it's focused on a region like Indo-PACOM, where you have joint forces that are responsible for that area of responsibility. And again, I mentioned the Sea Service out west, and that includes both the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard. Again, not exclusive to those, but those regions define that.
Yeah, it's striking to me, Mike, that I was thinking the same thing as you're talking about it. The last event that I was at, AFCEA event, was TechNet Cyber in Baltimore a couple months back. And no matter who I talked to, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, DISA folks from the Joint Force, no matter what, the conversation about the things that they care about and the things that matter to them are hit on all of the things that you just mentioned. But one of the things that I think is really interesting is there's been a conversation, obviously, for a long time about how technology influences and informs the way that warfighters will fight war moving forward. There's been a lot of conversation about how some of the technologies, you mentioned AI, LLMs, and those kinds of things, are also influencing and informing the way that the services are delivering back office functions and support for the warfighter, not just the warfighter on the edge, but all the people that are connected to that warfighter on the edge. What's that mean, do you think, for example, the people that are coming to TechNet Augusta, about the things that they should be thinking about coming to learn and coming to see the speakers that are there to talk about that kind of thing, Mike?
Now, a great question. What we're looking at there is really efficiency in operations, both at the operational level that you mentioned early on, and the back office as you talk about. As you know, we bring together government, industry, and academia in these forums, and that's really the important aspect. It's the opportunity for industry to engage some of those senior leaders. For example, at TechNet Augusta, we're going to have the Cyber Center of Excellence, and so you have the Commander, Major General Janovic, that's there. Yeah, on the Air or Army staff level, you have both the CIO and the G6 that are going to be there, Mr. Garcia and Lieutenant General Jeff Ray. And those type of leaders are present. And so industry gets to engage those leaders and their staff specifically to see what the pain points might be for them, and also offer the capabilities, the new technology that you mentioned as a potential solution for those pain points or those problems. Also, academia is there. We talk about the cyber workforce and the development of the cyber workforce. That starts with academia, really even before the college level. We're talking about college students and folks that are interested in STEM, that opportunity. So preparing the workforce to operate this new technology or to operate the new weapon systems and that kind of thing is important. And so we bring those all together and have that conversation early on. And so not late. And I like to say, if you do it late, the analogy I use is you're building a black box to make things work afterwards. We want to prevent things like that from happening and do this acquisition and the development early on to be efficient as possible.
This is going to be the first TechNet Augusta that FedGov Today comes to and records interviews, produces television content around and all of that. If you're me, coming for the first time, and my goal is to learn as much as I can about the Army's technology operation, especially the Army's cyber operation, what are the opportunities that you would recommend for me to dig into that and really get the most out of it when I come back to DC?
So first, you can get the high level from the keynote speakers, and those are the senior leaders that I mentioned, like Lieutenant General Jeff Ray. We have Lieutenant General Maria Barrett from the Army Cyber. We have some of the program executive offices, the folks that do acquire and do the contracting action for equipment. And so in those sessions, you're going to hear high level. You'll be able to dig down in what I call theater sessions or innovation showcase, where you'll be able to see a little bit more specific about the program. So I'm thinking, strategic level, operational, and tactical level. You'll have that opportunity to engage at all of those levels. So you'll get the big picture from those senior leaders that are running those programs for the respective service. Then you can drill down when they have their teams there, maybe some of the breakout sessions. And again, the innovation showcase, and that's something I would like to highlight, where we have opportunities, problem statements that the service or the customer puts out, and then industry can answer those with their capabilities. And even we put together a compendium, a book of all of that's available for the leaders to look at. So strategic, operational, and tactical.
The speaker list is really impressive, and we'll put a link to it on the show page today at fedgovtoday.com so folks can check it out for themselves. But there is one in particular that I'm really looking forward to hearing from, and that's Colonel Zissa. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. But the idea of the information that we're gathering on what's going on in Ukraine and with the types of technologies, the drone technology in particular, but not exclusively, all of those things that are potentially applicable, not just in conflicts in war zones like what's happening in Ukraine now, but the ramifications for all kinds of war zones all over the world. That's just got to be really fertile ground for not just the Army, but all the services to learn from and to be able to share those together.
No, absolutely. And it's an opportunity, a great opportunity for us to have somebody who's out there at the tip of the sword. And Colonel Zissa is the Director J6 for the Security Assistance Group, Ukraine, or SAGU, as we like to say in the military. We use a lot of acronyms, yes. SAG-U. But the opportunity to have somebody who's out there at the tip of the spear that can tell us how the equipment, the technology is being used, and how it is affecting operations out there. I really call it a chance of a lifetime, on an operational mission that's going on, and we're going to have the director, the J6, at our conference to brief us, and there'll be opportunities to ask questions, to see how things are going. Of course, industry will be there. I'm sure they will be eager to hear, especially if they have some technology that's being used out there, getting feedback, from the horse's mouth, if you will, as to what is going on out there. So it's it's spot on. You hit a great, ad, if you have, for this conference. And folks see that we have, somebody at the tip of the spear out there. That's going to be more enticing for folks to attend, and especially that session.
And that concept feeds into what the overall theme is that I take away for this event, and that is non-kinetic dominance in multi-domain operations. What's the genesis of why you wanted to go in that direction to touch on this? It's not just Ukraine, I imagine. It's just the way the landscape looks all over the world, I imagine.
Right. And so we work hand in hand in this instance with the Cyber Center for Excellence to develop the theme. And their headquarters there at Fort Gordon in Augusta. And so we worked with them to come up with this theme. And of course, non-kinetic means, ways of affecting operations without bombs on target or, that type of warfare. And so there's non-kinetic operations that can be a part of the multi-domain operations. And multi-domain means all spheres that we operate in, whether it's through the Ethernet, on the ground, in the air, those kind of things. And then also that operation, it has to be interoperable with all the services and with our partners that we go to war with, if you will. And that's a cliche. The partners that we go, in conflict with or an operation. And so it's important to affect that. You can affect the operation non-kinetically without having the effects of the damage that might happen, if you're actually dropping bombs or shooting weapons. And so that's important. And our adversaries are operating in those domains too. So we also have to protect that type of operation. Non-kinetic is something that is important to our warfighters and our leaders. It's part of the overall concept of doing an operation or affecting things.
Mike, it's great to talk to you as always. I hope you get a chance to swing by the booth at TechNet Augusta and give me a current situation selfie.
I absolutely will. It's always good seeing you, and I appreciate what you do for AFCEA, what you do for our customers. Just thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And you definitely will be in a current situation.
I can't wait. Look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
You can read more on today's show page at fedgovtoday.com. The next FedGov Today podcast is coming next Tuesday. To make sure you don't miss it, follow the FedGov Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows, and you can listen on demand at fedgovtoday.com. I'm Francis Rose. Thanks for listening.